Good afternoon. I am doing a ScreenFlow presentation of YouVersion Events website to get ready for a training that we're going to be having at Graymere Church of Christ tomorrow evening at 6. And I'm going to be demonstrating some of this stuff during the training as well, but I find that sometimes it's good to have videos to go back to look at. So the first thing we're going to do, you're looking at my Google Chrome website. So I'm going to start typing in events. Now events.bible.com is the website that you go to create your YouVersion event. And so I'm going to simply click OK. Now I already have an account at bible.com, and it's a free account. And so once I put in events.bible.com, it automatically pops up my username and my hidden password. So I'm going to click sign in. Now, since I have used my events for several years now, it shows up all the events that I have created. And what I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to show you how I create my next class, as well as how to create a brand new event. So when you have a class that you're teaching multiple times and you sort of already have the format set up, then it's easy to just go ahead and duplicate and make the changes that you need to make. So in my case, I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to come up here to the date, and I'm going to change it to the next class meeting, which is going to be the 14th. And I currently have this image from the Garden of Gethsemane. If I wanted to change it, I could click change image, and I always put a title underneath whatever the picture is, and then put a brief description of the study. And this is the Wednesday night adult fellowship room class, which is studying our relationship with Jesus, a look at the man, from September 2017 to May 2018. Then the next thing you do is add location and times. And when I pull up the blank format, I'm going to show you from scratch. This one I already have the location in, which is Graymere Church of Christ, and the address. And I usually start my events to come open a couple of hours before the class and then stay open a couple of hours after the class. And I already have a location. If I had another physical location, I could click on that and add another one. If there was a virtual location that I wanted the link to go to, I could click on virtual location. Now I'm going to click on add content. Now, currently the content that is here is the content that I used on the 7th of March. And this is the general outline we've been going by on the story of Jesus. So I'm going to come down here, and we actually are in part 4 of Dull Disciples. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm using an iMac, so in my case I'm going to go Command C, and I'm going to copy that, and then go Command V, and that changed it in there. And I'm going to change that to part 4. Now part 3 I do not want highlighted anymore, so I'm going to highlight that and unclick the bold. Then I'm going to come down here to part 4, and I do want it in bold, so I'm going to highlight and click bold. Alright, and then we have key themes of Mark that I have been sharing with that adult class, which stays constant, so I don't have to change anything to this. And we're still looking at the theme for dull disciples, which is Mark 6:30 to 8:21. And so I'm going to leave that theme in there, but I may actually get through with that particular study and go on into the next study that is called the second touch. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and come on down here, and with this particular class I've been showing the videos from Bible.com, and we're already through with Mark 7, so anything you don't need, you just click the X and get rid of that. And we've already covered those verses in Mark 7, and we covered this last week. So we're now ready for Mark 8, 1 through 21. And then I've got this information that I want to share with them. And then I actually have the text that we're going to be covering as well. And then at the end, I usually ask a question. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert a text box. Now, sometime when you do that, it puts the text box in a place other than where you want it. So sometimes I have to search. Okay, it put the text box there. So I'm going to come up here to reorder content, and I'm going to do a refresh and click reorder content, and it may have taken that blank text box out. So I'm going to click done reordering, and I'm going to come back down here toward the bottom again, and this is where I want the text box. So now it put a blank text box where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the theme of the next lesson that we're going to be covering. So what I'm going to do is copy this and I'm going to bring it down here to my blank text box, and I'm going to go ahead and make it bold. And this particular section is called Second Touch. And it is Mark 8, 22 through 26 and Mark 10, 46 through 52. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to start typing the theme. And this is very easy to use, and if you already have what you want to put in a Word document, you can just copy and paste. But in my case, what I am using is hard copy, so I'm basically having to type it in from scratch. and it's hard for me to talk and type at the same time, so that's why I'm not trying to say anything while I'm typing. Now, after I type it, I always go back and make sure I didn't do anything incorrectly. So physical blindness, both in our day and in Christ, was often used to symbolize spiritual blindness. An inability to see with the eyes is not nearly so dangerous as being unable to see with the heart. In this section of Mark, Jesus heals people who are physically blind, but he intends it to be a lesson for those who would be his disciples. We also need our sight restored. And then I've got a section for application, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this again, and then I'm going to come down here and click insert text. And this time this is going to be application, and I want it bold again, so I'm going to highlight it. And if I wanted it to be in italics, I could just click the italics, but in my case I just want it bold. Alright, how is your vision? Has Jesus touched you and restored your sight? Or do you still see only vaguely? Jesus has come to open your eyes, but you must let him touch you again and again before you will see him clearly. Then the next thing I want to do is go ahead and add our text. So we're going to click Bible Reference. And what I like about YouVersion is you can select the Bible version you like to use. And for this class, I use English Standard Version. If you wanted to use New King James, you could select New King James. If you wanted to use New American Standard, you could select New American Standard. Then you're going to select the book that you need, and in my case it's Mark. And then over here you're going to type in what you want, and I want 8:22 through 26, and it automatically brings up Mark 8:22 through 26. And then I'm going to put in another Bible reference. Again, I'm going to select English Standard Version. I want Mark again, and in this case I want Mark 10:46 through 52. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open up my YouVersion app, and your YouVersion app, you can either log in with Facebook, log in with your Google account, but I always like to just create a separate login. So again, I use the same login that I use for my events page, and it remembers me, so I'm going to click sign in. Alright, now I'm going to click on the video tab, and I'm going to click on the Gospel of Mark. Then I'm going to see if it has a section dealing with the Mark 8 section. And as you see here, there's Mark 8:22 through 38, and then there's Mark 10:33 through 52, which is a little bit more than what I want to cover for the second section. But what I do when I show it in class, before class begins, I go ahead and forward to the section I want to show. The same with this. This is 22 through 38, and I just want 22 through 26, so I'm going to stop it once it finishes the section that I want to use. So I'm going to click on this video, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy the URL. So I'm going to go Command C on the iMac, and then I'm going to come back over here, and I like to put my videos before my scripture. So I'm going to click Insert, and in this case is an external link, and so I'm going to put in the URL that I've just copied, and this is going to be Mark 8:22 through 26 is the section that we're going to be using. Now the actual portion of this video is through verse 38, so I'm going to go ahead and put verse 38, and down here I'm going to be putting, for this lesson we will be watching the section concerning Mark 8:22 through 26. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to see if there's any of the, okay, it doesn't have a description for this one, so I'm not going to worry about that. So we're now going to hit the back arrow, and I'm going to come down here to the next video that I want, which is Mark 10, and it does not have a description either. So all I need is the URL, and so I'm going to come back over here to the event page, and then we're going to use this right before this section. So again, this is going to be external link, and the URL is going to go there, and this is going to be Mark 10:32 through 52, and then I'm going to put we will be watching Mark 10:46 through 52 for this lesson. Alright. And so for this particular lesson, I've got the outline, and we're going to start with finishing up dull disciples. I may get to the second touch, and again I may not. So I won't worry about bolding the second touch, but I want that information to be there just in case I finish the dull disciples and I can go right on into the second touch. And so I have the key themes that I use every week, and then I've got the theme for the dull disciples. I've got the application for the dull disciples. Then I've got Mark 8:1 through 21, which we did not take time to watch that video last week, so this coming week we will probably go ahead and watch it. Then I've got this that I want us to think about, and then we have the Mark 8:1 through 21, of which I can use this as well. And then we've got the theme for the second touch, the application for the second touch. Then we've got the video portion for Mark 8:22 through 26. Then we've got the portion about the blind man and Bethsaida. And then we've got Mark 10:32 through 52 video, and then 46 through 52, and Bartimaeus, the blind beggar. And then we've got that. Then we have the question from the previous class, and I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to click on reorder content, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to move this text to the end of the Mark 8:1 through 21, because this question actually goes with the dull disciples. So if I needed to reorder anything else, I could reorder it here, but everything's in the order I want it, so I'm going to click done reordering. Now I'm going to check and see if there is a question okay, there is a question I want to include at the end, so we're going to go down here to the end, and I'm going to click on text, and my question is going to be, how has my insight into the life of Jesus increased? An R there. Increased my faith in Him. How will I share my insight into the life of Jesus with others? Okay, and I like to go ahead and bold these questions. So I'm going to click bold, and I probably will not finish this, so there is some more information about the blind men and Mark that I want to share with them in a text box, but I probably will go ahead and wait to put that in next week, because chances are I won't finish all of this, so I'll have a chance to bring in those questions the next time. So after you're done adding to your lesson, you click preview, and then what it does, it brings up as if you were looking at it on either your smartphone or your tablet. So it gives you a chance to make sure everything is exactly like you want it. So Wednesday, I'm going to double check and make sure that Wednesday is the 14th. Wednesday is the 14th. So I did that correct. And then here is my outline. And it's got in bold part 4 of Dull Disciples. It's got the key themes of Mark. And then it's got the theme for dull disciples, application for dull disciples, and then Mark 8, 1 through 21, the video link, and then the information I want to share with them about that section, then the actual passage from ESV, then the question, what will I do each and every week to demonstrate my confidence in Jesus? Then the theme for second touch, application for second touch, Mark 8, 22 through 38, and then the actual section of the verses we're going to look at, 22 through 26, and then the next link, and then Mark 10, 46 through 52, and then the 2 questions. Alright, so now I'm ready to publish it. Now, this is saying when the event goes live. And with your event, so that you know this, people with a smart device, or even if they go into the event on their computer, can save the event after it goes live. So from 4:30 p.m. on the 14th until 11 p.m. on the 14th, individuals will be able to save this and go back later. And so now, excuse me, I'm ready to publish it. Alright, and this gives me the URL for that class, and I have the ability to share it in my Twitter and Google Plus. If I wanted to share it in Facebook, I can share it in Facebook. But what I do with Facebook and the Graymere site, I've got a certain format that I use based on what I send the class in their email. So basically I update the email, I copy part of that, and that's what I actually put into Facebook. That includes both the links to the event as well as the links to the videos that we will be watching as well. And so that shows you how we edit event. Now I'm going to click back on to Go My Events, and I'm going to click on Create New Event. Alright, so we want to name this, and so I'm going to name it, this is a test lesson for training for Tuesday, 3/13/2018. Now, if I wanted to bring a picture in, I could drag and drop it, but you notice it gives you certain dimensions. It's got to be 1440 by 810. And a lot of times I'll bring a picture in that I've got to show you what happens. Okay, it tells me that my current image is 1600 by 1200 and it's got to be 1440 by 810. And so what I do, I've got an online photo editor that I use, and I want to open an image from my computer. So I'm going to click open image from my computer, and I'm going to go to where I have that, and don't have it in desktop. I'm going to cancel this for just a second, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move where I have these pictures, and I'm going to create a new folder. Then I'm going to take all of these photos that I've already downloaded and gotten ready to use as examples and bring them over here. So now I can click open from my computer, and I'm going to click on desktop iCloud. I've got a folder entitled Pictures for Training, and I'm going to choose this image right here. Alright, and then I'm going to click on the image size. And again, I want to go over here, and it tells me that I need it 1440 by 810. So I'm going to change this to 1440, and I'm going to change the height to 810. Now it's going to be a little distorted, but you have to use the dimensions that they tell you. Now notice that I unchecked constrain proportions. If I had left that checked, then it would have put the height to what it felt like it needed to be for 1440. But since I have to have it 1440 by 810, I'm going to uncheck constrain proportions. I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to click save the image, and I'm going to leave it the current title, and then I want it to be saved in my computer and not this Pixlr cloud. So make sure my computer is selected, click OK, and I'm going to go ahead and let it save it in the Pictures for Training, and I want it as a JPEG, and I'm just going to simply use the same image number. So I'm going to click save, and I'm going to tell it to replace the one that's there. And so now we're going to come back over here to the events. We're going to take the one that I just did. Oops. And since I redid it to the right format, it now just automatically put that in. And this is a picture of a site in Israel that Beth and I took when we went over to Israel. So now I want to put the church name, so it's going to be Graymere. Alright, event description, I'm going to put this is for training purposes for Tuesday 3/13/2018. Alright, now we're ready to add location and times. Now, it pretty much went out to the website and determined where Graymere Church of Christ was located. So you just want to make sure you review the address, and you go ahead and click on this because this allows you to add the time frame. So I want to add the time, and what I want it to be, I want it to be where I can demonstrate on my iPhone how to save something. So I'm going to have it start on the 12th, and I'm going to have it go for 2 days. That way this will be available even during the training tomorrow if I want to do some stuff with it tomorrow during the training. And so I want it to be available, and it's currently 3:10 on the on Monday the 12th, so I'm going to make it available 3 o'clock, and I'm doing it for 2 days. And we're in the Chicago time frame, so I'm going to click start time cannot be in the past. Okay, so I'm going to have to change this to 3:30. Alright, so now we're ready to add content. Alright, now you saw the example already of me changing some information with my current class that I already teach, but I'm going to go ahead and click on some of these links to show you the different things we can do. So this one is a text, so this just allows you to type in information, or as I mentioned earlier, if I have information on a Word document, I can copy and paste it into this area. So this is an example for the training at Graymere Church of Christ that will be taking place Tuesday 3/13/2018, starting at 6 p.m. in the fellowship classroom. Alright, so that's some text I want to use. So now I'm going to insert a Bible reference. So I'm going to choose several different versions. So what we're going to do first is we're going to come down here to King James, and I'm going to click Psalm 23. And even if you want to use the entire chapter, you still have to put the verses. So it's going to be verses 1 through 6, and that will get the entire Psalm 23. And so now we're going to insert another Bible reference. This time let's choose the New King James Version, and we'll go ahead and do Psalm 23 again. 1 through 6. Alright, and this time let's go ahead and choose the New American Standard Bible, and we'll do Psalm 23, 1 through 6. And then we'll go ahead and choose the ESV version, English Standard. So if you're wanting to do a comparison of verses, that's one thing I like about the events. It allows you to choose different translations. So we're going to do Psalm 23 again, and again, if you want the entire chapter, you've got to put all the verses of that chapter. Alright, so I've demonstrated how to do a text, how to do a Bible reference. What we're going to do here now is we're going to come back to our video, and I don't know if they have done a video on the Psalms or not. Let's see. I don't see a video on the Psalms. Let's see what this wisdom is. Alright, this wisdom, they've got Proverbs 4:36 and Ecclesiastes and Job. Let's go ahead and choose the Proverbs video. And we're going to go Command C. We're going to come over here. We're going to click External Link. And this is called Proverbs, the Fear of the Lord. And now I don't know if there was a description. The only thing it had here was a different related scripture, because they're discussing several of the chapters in Proverbs, so we won't worry about a description. I'll just simply put you could place a description of the video here. This could also be a YouTube video as well. It will allow you to link out to anything that you want to use for your lesson that it has URL. Alright, now I've demonstrated how to do the image and the header. but I'm also going to show you how to do an image in the actual lesson, because in this one the dimensions is different. It's 640 by 640. So I'm going to come back over here to my online photo editor, which is pixlr.com/editor. And so I want to come back here to new image, and I'm going to go OK and tell it that I'm done. And actually, I want to open and no, I want to open an image. So let's choose this image right here. Alright, and now we need to change the dimension of the image again. Now again, we want to unclick the constrain properties. Now we need it to be 640 by 640. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go 640 by 640. I'm going to go OK, and I'm going to go save. And I can now, if you don't want the image replaced that you used, you would give it another name. In my case, I don't mind it changing the image, so I'm going to go ahead and go OK, and I'm going to tell it to use the same name and put it in the same place, fix pictures for training, and then I'm going to go save. It wants to know if I want to replace the one that's there. I'm going to go replace, and so now it excuse me, now it has saved the image. So I want to go ahead and get rid of these, and so it brings me back to this open page here. So I'm going to come back here. Now I'm going to take the video, the picture that I re-imaged, and I'm going to slide it over here. And since it's the 640 by 640, it went ahead and put it in here. And I can add a caption, and I can say this is a picture from Israel of where Jesus asked Peter, who do men say that I am? And then, so we've done a text, a Bible reference. Now, I don't ever use the plan link or the giving link or the announcement link. Now, let's see what plan link is. All right. So if I wanted to share a reading plan, I can search for a reading plan. So if I come over here to my plans, and let's say that I want to go to my plans, and let's say that I want to share the harmony of the Gospels that I'm currently reading, then I could come up here and I could click share, and let's see if it'll give me the, basically all I want is the link. back up. Command C. Command V. So the giving link, like I say, I've never used the giving link. What? Alright. So again, it's an external link. So if you were at some place that you were able to share money via a website, you could do that. And then the announcement is pretty much like text. It allows you to put a title and then information about it, but I don't want an announcement, so I'm going to leave that. Now we can preview it to see what it's going to look like. So we can come back up here, and here's our title. This is a test lesson for training for Tuesday 3/13/2018, and this is an example for training. That's a text. This is Psalm 23 1 through 6, King James Version, New King James Version, New American Standard, ESV, and then a link to Proverbs video, then the picture that I brought in. Now it did not bring in the link for the reading plan, so it may be that I did something incorrect. So let's go back to, see, I must have done the reading plan incorrectly. So let's click on it one more time. And alright, so let's go back to the name of that. This is Harmony of the Gospel in 30 Days. A harmony of the Gospels. And okay, so that's what you do. You type the title of it, then you choose it. So now it actually has the plan. So if you want the people to have the ability to view a plan that you're reading, then that's how you share it. So let's go ahead and do that one more time, because this is the first time I've done it this way. So I'm going to click plan. Now let's go back over here to another plan that I do. This is simply called Mark. So we're going to type in Mark, and that's that one. And so now let's go over here to preview. And so we've got the picture we brought in for the heading, and then text, and then scripture 4 different times, and then the video link, then a picture, and then the 2 different plans that I shared. So now if I'm ready to publish this, notice that it's discoverable actually in the past, and it goes live at March the 12th, which is today, and it ends on March the 14th at 3:30 p.m. So I'm going to go publish, and then here's a link to that. So if I wanted to share this training, I could share the training, but in my case I'm not going to share it. I'm just going to leave it here, because this is actually part of a video that I'm recording. So in this video I've shared with you how to edit an event and how to create a brand new event. and I'm looking forward to the training tomorrow evening.